Welcome back to another episode of the Rep by Rep Strength Podcast. Today I wanted to take a moment to talk about the cornerstone of all strength training, progressive overload. So aside from pain-free range of motion and trying to get good quality movement patterns, the next block, so to speak, is going to be focused on progressive overload. So when we're working with beginners, the first goal is to evaluate them, see what their limitations are, and then see, okay, here's the movement that we're going to work on. Now, my goal with you is to see if you can repeat that movement for a certain number of repetitions without having much deviation there. So it's expected that a beginner is learning. There's a lot of coordination that's going on, a lot of motor learning that's going on. So you can expect, okay, the first several weeks, the body's trying to figure out how to work together. So say it's a set of squats, and you're trying to have a goal of 10 squats. The goal for the beginner is to have all 10 squats look just alike. Now, that is not going to happen immediately. It takes time. It's something you're always trying to work after, as a matter of fact. Is you may see an advanced athlete who they may make a mistake, but it's the same mistake each and every time. Or if you go in with an advanced athlete and you say, hey, we need to move your foot position out an inch, focus on driving the knees out. That advanced athlete will pick up on that new coaching cue very quickly, and now it's a new ingrained pattern that they can repeat over and over and over again. So once we've got the motor pattern established and we've picked out an appropriate exercise, we can move on to talking about progressive overload. So progressive overload needs to take the form of, this is not all inclusive, but here are some ways in which you can progress. Maybe you do more sets or more reps, maybe a higher weight. Maybe you have a more dense workout where you get more work accomplished in a shorter amount of time. Maybe you come in for more training sessions within a week, within a month, within a year, and so on. So the idea here is to very gradually progress and introduce these components. Now, these are not components that you have to implement all of them all at once. You can just implement one at a time. Of course, until the coach deems that it's appropriate that we move along and adjust our plan or training program. So these are things that I'm talking with folks daily about, is just because you're trying to, let's say we have our volume steady at 3 sets of 5. Just because we're trying to work at that progressive overload with the populations that I work with, step one, that's progress in my mind, is can you work through a larger range of motion without as much pain? That's progress. Can you put a little more weight on the bar? And where I'm at, we have change plates that go all the way down to 0.25 pounds. Can you do the same movement with an additional 0.25 pounds on each side while still retaining the motor ability and still maintaining the volume? Is the quality still good? If yes, cool. Let's take the 0.25 off, put the 0.50 on. A lot of people, for some reason, get so wrapped up in trying to only have the big jumps. You know, they see people on Instagram or whatever throw on 25s and 45s and it looks cool and all that. But here's the issue, is the people who are doing that and doing it well, that is likely their full-time job as an athlete. And they're just highlighting what their abilities are right now, not necessarily what the steps were to get there. So I know it looks romantic, and a lot of people think it looks cool. That's great. But you need to make a lot of small jumps while retaining the quality over time before you can make that big jump, right? So I would encourage you this week, when you're going about your training, try to just put a little more weight on the bar. Record yourself doing it and doing the set, and ensure that the quality is still high. See if you can still hit the same volume with a little bit heavier weight. Because I will see people who come in the gym and they've been sticking with the same exact weight for 4 or 5, 6 weeks, and their rep schemes haven't changed, their volumes haven't changed, and they just slap on a 45-pound plate on each side, go about their business, and do their thing. But the issue there is they aren't forcing their body to adapt to a new stimulus. So they're not getting they're probably still getting, slightly better. But over time, if they're not forcing the body to adapt to a new stimulus, a new higher threshold of training, the body won't adapt. So you need to establish something that is uncomfortable and push that limit, but you need to do it intelligently. So small jumps over time, while implemented into your training program appropriately, is going to be one of the best ways to get there. So give it a try this week. See how you do. Let me know if I can help you in any way. Have a good night.